There's a moment in This Is England where childhood ends. Shane Meadows' 2006 film is often remembered for its raw portrayal of youth subculture in 1980s England. But beneath the shaved heads, Doc Martens and Scar soundtrack lies something far more intimate and unsettling. A story about the loss of one's innocence. And in this video, I'm going to find out the moment where that takes place.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Is it working, Kev? Sing it up, mister!
The story focuses on Sean, a 12-year-old boy navigating grief and isolation. His father died in the Falklands War, and we meet him in a state of quiet vulnerability, bullied at school, disconnected at home, and searching for something he can't quite articulate. From the outside, he seems like any typical kid from 1980s England, but there's a hint of sadness within it. Sean finds a group of skinheads who welcome him into his group. Contrary to popular assumption, this subculture, at least in its original form, isn't rooted in hate. It was multicultural, working class, and grounded in music. For Sean, it represents something he's missing: belonging. In these early scenes, there's a genuine joy to his integration in the group. He laughs, experiments with identity, and forms connections. Especially with Woody, who acts as a kind of surrogate older brother. These moments feel almost idyllic. There's a rebellion, but it's playful. This phase in the film is crucial in showing us that innocence is openness. Sean is absorbing the world around him, trying to understand who he is. He's in a state of influence, swimming within the waters of indoctrination, which can easily be poisoned. The turning point arrives with Combo. He's a charismatic, intense, and deeply damaged individual. Brings with him a radically different ideology, one rooted in nationalism, anger, and division. Where Woody's group offered Sean acceptance, Combo offers him a purpose. He recognises Sean's vulnerability almost immediately. He doesn't just include him, he validates him. He gives voice to Sean's pain, reframing it as something political. His father didn't just die, he died for England. And suddenly Sean's grief is weaponised into something larger and more dangerous. This moment is where innocence begins to erode. Not because Sean chose hatred outright, but because he trusts the wrong person to define his identity. What makes This Is England so powerful is how it portrays this shift. There's no sudden transformation. Sean doesn't just wake up one day as a different person. Instead, we watch him absorb ideas and attitudes that slowly taint his soul. And this is how innocence is lost in the real world. Through exposure. My favourite aspect is that the film explores how values themselves can be tainted. The skinhead culture that once represented unity becomes fractured under the influence of Combo. The England of 1980s under Thatcher was deeply divided. Meadow uses this microcosm of a friend group to reflect how easily communities can be splintered with fear. Sean is caught in the middle of it all. There's a heartbreaking irony to his journey. In seeking belonging, he loses himself. The clothes he wears, the words he repeats, and the actions he participates in, they all feel like steps towards identity, but in reality, are steps away from innocence. And this leads to the moment of no return. Milky is in many ways the emotional core of the group. His presence represents what the skinhead culture originally stood for. On the outside, you wouldn't assume someone like Combo would instantly reject Milky, but Combo's character isn't just written as some typical racist who hates everyone. In his mind, his hate is justified, and until he believes someone has crossed that line for whatever reason, they then become the enemy. The two of them spend time together. Milky shares stories about his family, his upbringing. For a brief moment, there's vulnerability, a friendship between them, and then it shatters. And it's one of the most disturbing scenes I've ever seen. Combo's violent outburst is not just physical, it's the destruction of everything the group once represented. And for Sean, this one moment is the end of his childhood, because now he can't ignore the reality of what he's been pulled into. The same group that gave him belonging had been torn apart from within. The one thing that he felt gave him purpose was a lie. Sean is forced to confront the truth. In the film's final act, it's almost a quiet reflection. Sean stands alone on a beach, holding the St. George's flag, a symbol that's been redefined throughout the film. At the beginning, it represents pride, identity, and even comfort. But now it carries the weight of everything Sean has experienced. Manipulation, division, violence. When he throws it in the sea, it's an act of rejection, yeah. But he's also finally awoke from the world around him. He's no longer the boy we met at the beginning of the film. He's seen too much, felt too much, and understood too much. Now the world is no longer simple. While the film is remembered for its realistic depiction of working-class England, the humorous scenes, the ending is truly haunting. It leaves you with a subconscious question. What happens after innocence is lost? The film suggests that this loss is not exclusive to this character. It's something that can happen to anyone, and how deeply those divisions can scar people within them. Innocence is a blank canvas upon which anything can be painted, and the consequences of tainting it can echo far beyond a single moment or a single film. This is England, and it's not a story about growing up. It's a story about what we can lose along the way.